Can a person from another country do the note business remotely in the US? Stay tuned. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in for this week's edition of NoteSchool TV, where every Wednesday at 11:05 Central Time, we bring you amazing content and amazing guests. And today, that is, that's certainly the case. We have a guest from another country, right? And you'll meet him in just a second. So, a couple of things I'd like for you to do for me. Number one, make sure and like. So hit the like and let us know that you like what you're seeing. Subscribe. If you have not subscribed to NoteSchool TV, make sure and do that as well. And hit that bell notification so that you will be notified when we are about to go live every Wednesday at 11:05 Central Time. Also, please keep those comments coming. We love to hear what you have to say. We love to hear what you have to say about our guests. And it really just, gives us a real boost to see that you guys are participating and you guys are listening. And for those of you that do have questions, make sure and keep sending those as well. And if you would like to know more about NoteSchool and how to attend a NoteSchool event, just go to noteschool.com/TV. Again, noteschool.com/TV. And with that, here's what we do every week at this time. Let's go to the news. So, guys, I reported this last week. I started reporting this, and this is pretty interesting, right? So, I wanted to talk about that just a minute again this week, and it's considerable in my mind that 8% of newly mortgaged homes are underwater. So newly mortgaged homes, again, are houses that the buyer/borrowers bought those since January, February of this year. January, February, there's still 8% of those homes are underwater. Why? Well, October, again, is the 7th consecutive month of cooling prices, meaning prices are kind of going down. And then most of those 8% are in this category of FHA VA loans, the Ginnie Mae loans. And the reason that we see 25% of those in that area is simply that those are the loans that typically the borrowers only have to put down, from 0 to 3%. So you can imagine if you've only put 3% down on a house and your market's dropped 10%, well, you're 7% underwater. So we're going to keep a really close eye on that as we move forward. And then secondly, ran across this article. And again, I thought this was pretty interesting as well, in that 37% of real estate agents in the U.S. couldn't afford to pay their rent in November. Yet another bad omen for the housing market. The three key takeaways, right? At the end of November, the number of newly listed homes for sale dropped by 21%. Largest decline in a while. And why would it have been in May of 2020? Well, that's when the pandemic had started. Homes are staying on the market a median of 36 days, a week longer than the same time last year, according to Redfin. And what this really means is in November, 37% of agents struggled to pay rent on their offices for the second straight month in a row. It says, while the situation seems to be holding steady, it is a concerning sign. So yeah, as the market cools, this is one of those things that, you don't expect that to happen. You go from realtors being in a boom situation, houses on the market a week with multiple offers and closes 25% above asking price. And now, the market continues to cool, and 37% are struggling to pay their office rent. So just another omen there. So guys, it is my pleasure to now introduce, our founder, our chief innovative officer, our my friend, my mentor, Mr. Eddie Speed.
Well, thank you, Joe. I am so glad to be here today. We have a terrific guest. This guest has maybe an unusual story for you, and maybe not an unusual story. He has used a lot of his real estate investing literally not only in his town, but not even in the same country. And so it sort of shows how effectively you can do this totally remote. So with that said, we'll come listen to his story and talk about that and a lot more. We're going to welcome Mr. Gus Jassal.
Morning,
Hello,
Eddie.
Gus. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you guys doing?
And now tell us where you live, Gus.
I'm up here in Vancouver, Canada, just a little bit north of the border.
Yeah.
I've been here for 20 years.
And you were originally a real estate investor?
I have been a real estate investor, fix and flip guy. And when we were fix and flipping, we were in Washington State. So I would go across the border, pick out a house, find a GC, go ahead and get some remodeling done, and then find a realtor to sell it. And we did that for a few years. We were reasonably successful at that. And then I found wholesaling, which seemed to be the answer to my problems of, like the big capital outlay, the risk, and the time that takes to turn around a property. And then, of course, finding a property and et cetera, all that stuff, and disposing of it.
So you shifted from the traditional buy, fix, and flip, and then you were still buying real estate, and then you were doing wholesaling, right?
Correct. Yeah. So
tell us about wholesaling.
So a few years of wholesaling, and what you don't realize about wholesaling at the start is that it's a big mind shift. It's a very much marketing effort. So you become very quickly you become a marketeer, and the wholesaling, the real estate portion of it becomes, it's important, but you're really about the number of touches, the frequency, and follow up. So to be successful in that, we had to really drive our systems, get our systems down, and it was a very heavy marketing effort. Great, was great for a little while, and then of course a little while later it became harder as more and more people came through the market. One of the issues with wholesaling is that you can learn it in a weekend, or people think you can learn it in a weekend, and so you get a lot of people coming into the market. And then then you have to stand above that. But there's a lot of noise that you have to work through.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's easier than it is. But what you're right, whether it is that easy or it's not, it attracts a lot of competition, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's changed really drastically this year, right?
Indeed. Yeah.
Like big time changed.
Yeah. There's everybody, it basically just fell off a cliff, right?
It did.
So no two ways about it. But then, you have to adapt.
Yeah.
Just like the dinosaurs, right? If they didn't adapt, they would go extinct. So we have to adapt with the market, and this is where we are now.
Yeah, a lot of people are seriously readjusting their wholesaling business. That's why so many people are showing up at NoteSchool's door. And but you had already kind of made a transition. You sort of read that earlier than most. And so I want to know, like, when you were looking to make a change, what did you see in NoteSchool that looked different?
Well, first of all, it's a very complete system. I mean, I was introduced to NoteSchool through my contacts in the wholesaling industry. Just seemed like a more mature. So what we need in life are options. And we need to be able to figure out, if you, like, again, if we were saying earlier, if you have a hammer, then, everything is a nail, right?
Yeah.
So, and if that's all you have in your toolbox, then you're going to treat everything like a nail. It's very apparent in the wholesaling industry that, that you can't, not all deals are equal. And some deals you walked away from because you couldn't monetize it. Talking to Eddie, talking to yourself, it's there's times that we left money on the table. There are times where we walked away from a deal that we should have seen home. Being in NoteSchool now, you see the different options, the different financial pieces that can come together. There's lots of ways of, if a deal is not done, it is not dead. You just haven't thought of a different way of monetizing it yet.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that people figure out when they come to NoteSchool is it becomes very much of really an awareness. And that's what you're saying. You have an awareness to see a deal that otherwise you didn't see before. And and Gus, I think your story is very interesting because you didn't just use this as another path to take your real estate investing down. You actually moved over and started buying notes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people think that's like that's jumping the fence, but for you, it didn't seem like that, right?
No, I think it's just a natural progression. The first note I bought, it was down in Louisiana. I picked it up as a kind of a tester note, as people do.
Yeah.
And then it was a small outlay and a small payment back, and I didn't think people would ever cash it in. But a hurricane came through Louisiana, and there was an issue with the house, and the insurance company paid me out. And it's unfortunate. I felt really quite bad for the people, the owners, but they walked away good financially, in a little bit better situation, and so did we. So it was.
What did you pay for that note, Gus?
27,000, something like this.
And you collected some payments, and then they had an insurance claim.
Yeah.
How much did you collect a month?
A couple of hundred.
Okay.
A little bit shy of a couple of hundred, and then that went on for a few months, and then I got a check for 30,000, 30 or something. I can't remember now. 32,000, and yeah.
Which paid off the note.
Which paid off the note and put some change in my pocket as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of a windfall. It was oh, this system works. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think you've alluded to, and just so the audience is kind of clear about it, NoteSchool has quite an ecosystem. So we have processes within the NoteSchool family where people can, you're going like, oh my gosh, how in the world did Gus sitting up there in Vancouver, Canada, find a note in Louisiana?
Yeah.
And the answer is you use the ecosystem, right?
Correct. We have NoteSchool has a sister company, and they have a platform where they Notes Direct with there are some notes available for to purchase, and these notes have been let's call it sanitized, so that the really nasty ones are not on there. They are they're ready to go, and it's great to have someone looking over your shoulder, so you're not going to go down. You feel like you're in good hands.
Yeah.
That ecosystem. Okay, so we have websites that you can rely on, and there's a knowledge base. But beyond that, there's an ecosystem around. It's more of a family. It's everybody looking out for each other. The mindset is great. The abundance mindset, and it's really there. In spades, actually. There's very few people you meet in that journey who are not in who don't want to see you succeed.
Right. Well, we try to foster that. We've had that for a long time. Did you know, Gus, that over probably the last 6 years that we've traded over 6,000 assets on that platform.
Yes, I did. I know I do. I
So
didn't. Yeah.
it's been a game changer for a lot of people, because
Mhm.
somebody like you, like, they want to go buy the asset, but they don't want to go have a marketing machine to go find the asset.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good, because you ran a pretty big marketing machine, and you found out that's kind of a grind, right?
That is a grind. It's a daily thing, and you have to be a true successful wholesaler. You have to scale, put systems in place, and if that's not for you, and it isn't for many people, then you can look around to say, well, okay, how can I be successful? If marketing's not your jam, then go and do something else. And if the true real estate industry, particularly the financial end, it's loaded with options. You just have to, it's the awareness that there are options out there that you may not have thought about.
Yeah, I think a lot of people enter the business. The most common thing, of course, that anybody that enters the house buying business, the most common thing is really one of two things. You're going to be a house flipper, or you're going to be a landlord. Those are the two things instantly people think about. But as they get into the business, they start really realizing, oh my gosh, there's more options than this. And that's what you're kind of describing. Now, we help people that want to go do those things do more of it better, within how we teach creative financing. So I was going to ask you this, and you kind of alluded on it before, but like, when you see people join, when I see people join some kind of a network, a membership, right? Some kind of an ecosystem, like, and when I see it doing it, I'm always kind of thinking, well, you've been on other things. You've been in other programs. You didn't just start with from scratch.
No.
You were looking for a little more of something and a little less of something else. What was that?
That's a good question. I was looking for expand your knowledge, looking to expand the knowledge for the industry. Wholesaling, fix and flip, wholesaling. You're kind of driving down the same road. It's a very tangible thing. There's a lot of people making money out there on a lot of intangible outcomes. Things that are a little bit specialist, right? We know we know that there are these deals going on. How can I get some of those deals?
Exactly.
How can I make it more profitable? Beyond that, if I have that awareness, I can teach that awareness to my family, to my community. It takes someone in your community, someone in the family to go ahead and say, hey, look, this is what you can do. You don't have to be stuck with a house flipping, or your 9 to 5, or the wholesaling business. I mean, they're all great, but they're not. That's not all of it. I'll show you a way. Give you a mindset that will help you forever, help you in your life. I'm not going to give you any money, but I'm going to show you a way of making money.
You're able to add some legacy, because you can show them how to fish, not give them a fish, right?
Well, I was waiting for you to say that.
No, it's the truth. It's absolutely a truth.
Yes.
My father-in-law got me in the business that way. I helped my dad get in the business, and a number of family members, and all three of my kids, either them or their spouse, are involved in the business on a very significant basis in the same way. And by the way, I didn't go give my kids a bunch of money to start doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I think
I think it makes them better investors. Before we round this out, though, I want to talk about, like, you even went down another path, because you bought another asset in a very different way.
Yeah, I'm currently holding a note in Chicago, and that is, um, Chicago has its challenges, and it's been great. Sorry, the lights have just gone off here.
Right.
Um, I'm in an office where the lights are automatic. Yeah, the Chicago house is proving to, it's had its challenges, but it's great. It's now that I'm in the Note School community, I can see the different options that we can use to actually either exit the deal or hold on to it and push it out to some sort of a rental or some sort of way we can make money. In the
So
past,
you
I've
bought a note. You bought a note, and the people weren't paying. It was a non-performing loan, right?
correct. It was a foreclosure. It was a pending foreclosure. It was not. They were not paying. Hadn't paid for 2 years, I think.
And one of the things that you figured out is sometimes when people aren't paying, instead of having to go all the way through the foreclosure process, they're willing to do what?
They're willing to walk away from the house if you give them sufficient motivation,
And you got them to do.
financial motivation. Sorry.
You got them to walk away before foreclosure, what we call a deed in lieu of foreclosure, right?
Yeah. So they walked away, and
So what was their story? They just sort of given up on the deal?
they had changes in their circumstances. There was a mother and son. I think the father had um, he had passed a little while ago. The son was living there, but he wasn't really interested in making payments. The
Yeah.
mom was in a little bit, out a little bit. She got family in Juarez. She wants to go and visit or live with.
Mhm.
So the house was, they kind of lost interest, and it was a burden to them. They liked the house, they liked living where they are, but honestly, their life had moved on.
Yeah.
They were looking for a way out.
And they just signed it away.
Signed it away. Yeah.
And you
So I
didn't
ended up with the house.
so that puts you on a short path to go then not have to go through the foreclosure. People say, how often does that happen? And I would say that if people are dealt with in a certain manner, which you did a good job of,
Yeah.
then they just want rid of the pain, right? They're not. That's what they want.
Yeah. As you say, we're not. We treat them like family.
Yeah.
We treat them like as we would expect our family to be treated, right?
That's it.
We're not there to hide something, push them, get them to do what they don't want to do. We're there to deliver options and say, here is something that you can do. Here, this is something you can walk away from. This is how you can do it. So we're helping. I like to see that we're helping the house, and we're helping the neighborhood, helping the family.
So we hear we have Note School has these within our kind of our family, our ecosystem. Note School has these weekly events where students will bring on case studies, and they say, here's the story. What do I do? What do you think? What does it look like? So I think that's where you're talking about kind of the support system is like, we've got a lot of experience. We kind of know what the odds are. And we also know like, oh, you could do these 6 things, whatever it is. We were talking about your house on the backside, and it has an inordinate rental value, a good one.
Yeah. If we rent it out to Section 8 tenants, and I'm sure most people know what Section 8 is, then we can get a pretty good rental for it.
Yeah, a government guaranteed rental rate, right?
Yeah. And that in turn will make the house a lot more attractive. Again, it gives us options to either hang on to it or sell it as a turnkey.
So you were saying you had about 70,000 in it?
I've got about 77 in it now.
And you're thinking that to get it to that standard, you might have to put another 12 to 15 in it. Is that a fair statement?
Correct. Yeah. So
you'll have 90,000 in it, somewhere like that. $90,000 to produce 2,000 a month.
Correct. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's actually pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
And then once again, you could then decide just to go sell it to a landlord with, you could even put the management in place. You could have it rented, have it managed.
Mhm.
Lots of options there, or you could just keep it and hold it. So,
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about that a little bit. So in that scenario, we'd be in 90,000 in. The retail value of that, the house is still about 140.
Yeah.
So like if we wanted to sell it as a turnkey, then we are talking about a chunk of change coming our way.
Yeah.
If we wanted to do that, right? And then 2,000 a month is actually pretty good as well.
Yeah, be sure when you get to that point, bring that deal to the deal lab. I'll be excited to beat that up. We have a lot of experience in that area, and I'll be excited to, for us to really fine tune it, to really make sure you feel like you've got the most clarity and options of how to do it. But we've done a lot of experience in that area of the business.
Oh yeah. I know. Otherwise, we sit on the deal labs. It's a religious thing for us. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I mean, it's the bits of the program that I like. There's a lot of touch points. I think there's like almost five touch points a week, and you're available for us to ask questions, us to learn that business, climb the ladder. Just get it going. Action, as Pat says, action. So yeah, Pat Precourt. So those of you who don't know, Pat Precourt is part of the mindset. He offers a lot of mindset advice.
Yeah,
it's invaluable. It's the biggest struggle is between your ears, right? I mean,
it is. So part of what we do in our ecosystem of NoteSchool is Pat is a long friend of mine. I see he's the best head coach in the business for real estate investors. And he helps us not get stuck, and so we have a lot of actionable things we can do. Pat helps people with like getting over mental objections to go get to those actionable steps. And it's a good 1-2 punch.
It's fire. Yeah. It's like without that, you could just sit back and learn. But you need someone to kick you into action.
Yeah.
Kick you into action.
We all do. I mean, we when I built NoteSchool, I really realized that, right? Without the ecosystem, without guiding people through what the processes are and what the options are, then it's a little bit scary, and we could take the fear out of it. So that was our desire. So I want to talk one last thing before we leave here, and that is, I know that you have desires beyond business, and I want to talk about like how you see this business helping you live a better life.
Well, currently I have a 9-to-5, and I'm
So you don't have to do this full time.
Yeah. So, and I don't have to be involved in the NoteSchool full time. However, it gives me an option. It gives me an option to step away from my 9-to-5 and go do something more useful. Spend that time with the family and giving them advice, giving them direction, and the community. Go help my community with whatever they need. Whether it's assistance in time or in money or in just oomph. But I see the next few years I need to transition into another part of my life where I'm helping others, and I have the ability to give it my all instead of dividing my attention. Constantly, if you've got a 9-to-5 and you're running the note business and you've got a family, you're constantly dividing your attention amongst a lot of these different things, right? And you're not giving everybody your whole self. I'd like to give more of myself to other people, to to allow them to be successful. Yeah.
Well, I bet you everybody on this in this audience, including me, I bet you we're giving a big hoorah to that, because we think that that is a deeper meaning of life. And I'm glad in any way, shape, or form. I can tell you countless stories. I just got the coolest Christmas present a while ago from a guy named Imran, that you probably have seen a case study on him, and he's got some killer case studies, and he lives, it's just a crazy story. I mean, he started out at 9 to 5 as an engineer, lived in Arizona, and now his family's in the DC area, and he's picked the neighborhood he never dreamed he could live in. And it's just a great story. And every year that guy sends me a present and reminds me of the impact that we had in him a few years ago. And anyway, I just got it this morning. I just saw it this morning before our interview, and it made me think about what you just said. So I'm going to say, stay the course, because it's worth it.
It is worth it. And, you know, it's within grasp of everybody. You just got to take a few pieces of action, right? Take some action, move forward. You know, we've got people looking out for you. You know,
It's great.
Don't be scared. Just go.
Gus, you've inspired us. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Well,
awesome.
for-
Stay warm up there in Canada now, okay?
We're just miserably cold over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
Wet and cold.
my daughter and son-in-law are in Seattle. She's a ballet dancer, and she's at a company up there right now. So I'm fully aware of I've been up there and done a lot of training in the Seattle area. So it's gorgeous, but it is a little cool in the winter. So
Yeah, it is wet.
good luck to you. Happy holidays.
Thanks, Eddie.
All right, Joe, I'm going to let you come back and close us out, my friend, and we will see you on the other side. Happy holidays to all of you.
Sounds good, Eddie. You know, and by the way, Imran, I got a great gift yesterday from Imran as well. Great guy, great student, great story. But guys, you know, Gus nailed it when he said, you know, you've got your family, you've got another job, you're doing the note business or doing whatever else you're doing, and you're split with that. And I'll bet that a lot of New Year's resolutions are going to be made around that as we start winding up 2022 and thinking about where we're going to be in 2023. So, guys, thanks so much for being with us today. It's our pleasure, and we always look forward to this. And we will see you next week, same place, same time. Have a great week.